Okay, today we're going to talk about solving systems by elimination. This is the last form of solving linear systems that we'll talk about. So there's several steps here. The first step is going to be put both equations into standard form. That means that x and the y are on the same side. Step number 2 is going to be multiply one or both equations such that either the x terms or y terms are opposites. After we do that, we're going to add the two equations together. This is where the name comes from. This eliminates one of the variables. Then after this, it's going to be pretty much the same as it was with substitution. We're going to solve for the remaining variable. Then we're going to substitute that variable into either of the original equations. Then we're going to solve for the other variable. Then we're going to make sure we write our solution as an ordered pair. Okay, so let's jump straight into some problems. First example, example 1. Let's do 2x plus 3y equals 11. Then let's also do negative 2x plus 5y equals negative 13. So there's our system. So if we go through these steps, first we need to put both in standard form in this problem that's already done for us. Step number 2 is to make opposites for either the x terms or the y terms. We already have opposites for the x terms, so we don't have anything to do there. Step number 3 is to add the two together. So let's go ahead and do that. So if I add these two together, my x's zero out. I have 3y plus 5y, which is 8y, equals 11 plus 13 is 24. Now we're going to solve for the remaining variables. So we're going to divide both sides by 8, and we get y equals 3. At this point, it's just like what we did with substitution. So we're going to plug it into either equation. Whichever one looks easiest is the one that you should choose. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the top one. So it's going to be 2x plus 3 times, what does y equal? 3. And this is going to equal 11. So we get 2x plus 9 equals 11. Subtract 9 from each side. 2x equals 2. Divide both sides by 2. We get x equals 1. And then the very last step, number 7, is to write our answer as an ordered pair. So the answer is going to be 1, 3. Remember, if this is a standardized test, 3, 1 could be one of the answers. Just make sure you're paying close attention to the details. Okay, let's do another example. Let's do example 2. We're going to follow the exact same steps. And this one is going to be 6x minus 2y equals 1. And negative 2x plus 3y equals negative 5. Okay, so let's go through our steps again. Make sure both are in standard form. Both are in standard form. We need to multiply one or both equations so we have opposites. At this point, we don't have opposites. And we could eliminate either the x's or the y's. It doesn't matter. But with this one, if I multiply the bottom equation by positive 3, then my x's are opposites. If I was going to eliminate the y's, then I could multiply this one by 3 and this one by by 2, but that's multiplying two things, so multiplying one is quicker. So let's go ahead and multiply the bottom equation by 3. So we end up with negative 6x plus 9y equals negative 15. I'm going to go ahead and just rewrite this top equation down here. So we have 6x minus 2y equals 1. So now we're going to add the two together. My x's are going to eliminate. I end up with 7y equals negative 14. So now we're going to solve for y. Divide by 7. I get y equals negative 2. Plug it into either equation. I'm going to go ahead and pick the top equation just because it looks easier, but it does not matter. So this is going to be 6x minus 2 times, what does y equal? Negative 2. and that equals 1. So we end up with 6x plus 4, positive 1. 6x plus 4 equals 1. Subtract 4 from each side. 6x equals negative 3. Divide by 6. The 6 is 0. Divide out on this side, so we get x equals negative 1/2. Final step is to write that as an ordered pair. So the ordered pair is negative 1/2, common negative 2. Okie dokie. Example 3. Example 3, let's do 3x minus 7y equals 5, and 9y equals 5x plus 5. Okay, there we go. So step number 1 is to put them both in standard form. The bottom equation is not in standard form.
Good morning, Mustang.